Dallas gets smoked by Denver and then does the deed itself to Atlanta, right? And then Denver itself goes from playing easily their best game of the Vic Fangio era, if you want to call it that, easily. And it's one of Bridgewater's best games that he's played, and I know that he subbed in for Breeze and played very well there too. But this is Teddy's virtuoso performance. And then he olays big play Slay the next week. How does something like that land in a locker room when you're watching back on film?
Well, I mean, it's horrendous as a player, simply because, especially the quarterback position, everybody on that team is taking shots for you, right? I mean, they're putting it on the line so that you can be as good as you can be, and you're doing anything you can do to keep people off your quarterback, and for your quarterback to basically just sidestep contact, to not make a play. That becomes one of those things where it becomes kind of independent contractor, and that's the best way to lose football games, when every guy is out there going, I'm playing for me. I'm not playing for us. This is not a we thing. This is a me thing. And when you get to that point as a football team, you'll never be any good. And now you look at the Broncos in general. Under Vic Fangio the last 2 years, 13 home games, 7 of them have been losses by double digits at home. You look at right now, the Raiders, they were uncompetitive. In the end of the game, a guy they voted team captain before the season started, Cortland Sutton, end of the game, I think late third quarter, Teddy Bridgewater throws an interception, and it's being returned, and Cortland Sutton just walks off the field. Doesn't chase it. I mean, he's your team captain. And he just quit on that play. And then you get the same thing, Teddy Bridgewater, who you voted team captain, does the same thing on Darius Slay. Unacceptable. And that goes to culture. That goes to the head coach. I worked as a plumber's apprentice one summer when I was probably 17 years old. Mm-hmm. And I'm working, and this guy says to me, hey, man, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about plumbing. And I basically have a shovel, and I'm digging a ditch down to the septic tank from this apartment complex we're building. And he said, and I'm like, okay, man, I'm going to get everything I need to know about plumbing right now. And he goes, okay, you ready? I said, yes. Yeah, I'm ready to take it all in, right, Rich? Mm-hmm. And he says, basically, I'll clean this up for the radio. Poop flows downhill. Make sure you've got gravity on that pipe you're digging. That 50 yards of dirt you're going to move, make sure it's flowing downhill. That's all you need to know. And from an organizational standpoint, if your owner or your head coach doesn't establish and live a culture every single day, it's going to filter down to the players, and the players are going to take culture is built. It's the path of least resistance. And if you don't hold people accountable at the very top of your organization, how do you expect the people underneath you to hold themselves accountable? And it's unfortunate because that's not the Denver Broncos that I played for, and it's upsetting.
I mean, Elway's the helicopter guy, right? I mean, for lack of a better phrase,
right.
You know what I mean? And he's got to be seeing this too. That's what I'm saying. That what do you do? I mean, this is a team that has an opportunity to make the playoffs this year, but I think you could already see that they still haven't found the answer at quarterback, right, for their future.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Teddy Bridgewater is not the future quarterback of your organization. You just don't have him on your roster. Whoever that guy is, he's not part of your roster right now. So, but again, you can still do things the right way.
No, I know that. So do you think you're one of if I'm not mistaken, you sent some serious alarm bells on draft night, Mark, on your Twitter feed. Is Deshaun Watson still or Rodgers still a possibility here in Denver? Do you think?
Oh, I don't think there's any question if those guys became available that new general manager George Payton would be, first in line to see what he could come up with. And that's part of moving Von Miller and getting a third and a second, and doing some of the deals that he has done here in this season to try to get as much draft capital as possible. Because if any of these guys becomes available, if the Packers decide it's time to move on, I believe without any doubt that the Broncos would be first in line to try to make a play. That doesn't mean they'll get him, but I think they'll try to make a play.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the question is, though, if you're Rodgers, and if you do make that move and you'd want to win now, I don't know if the Broncos would have that leg up, like, say, the Steelers might, or,
Right.
And obviously Deshaun Watson, would have to realize that there would still be a process for him if that's what he's looking for. But clearly, if he's okaying South Florida and Miami, he knows that he's ready for something like that. I just don't know if Denver is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Rich, I think they're a more talented roster than their record would necessarily indicate.
Right.
And so, I think they've got some talented pieces, but I always told my son when he was coming up in baseball and playing even in the major leagues, talent's wasted on talented people. And it's so much more than talent. It requires so much more. Talent it's really nice to have, but talent, if you don't have the work ethic and you don't have the desire and you don't have the all the other intangible aspects to it, talent really doesn't mean anything.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.